we had monitors, but we don't, so we can't hear it.
I mean, it's too loud. You do it sounds good.
Just leave it loud so my microphone can catch it.
We can try to turn these into
Chris,
What do you mean?
she's laying down this one.
Jesus came and Lord, have your way. Lord, have your way. Let your mighty heart stir within my soul. Lord, have your way. Lord, have your way.
I don't know. I don't have it. I think they
I like being the word like. Yes. Do you get to the song list? What best I said there? Revelation song.
Can you send that to Taylor?
Yes, I can. We should just add it to the group chat.
Yeah, that would. I think that would help a lot.
That would make a lot of sense.
We know what this works for.
I was using it for, asking my daughter.
What are you sending it to me on?
Your phone.
Okay.
How about something like
I sent the songs to you through a note. Does that make a difference?
No.
Oh, you mean like text message?
It's fine.
I don't get it. I need a guitar player. I feel like that song's in that range where I have like a hard time.
Revelation song in Turkey, and I can
Oh, it's right here. Oh. Okay. Sorry, Revelation song. Surrender, vessels. In the hands of God, Lord, I need you. My heart is yours. We haven't done In the Hands of God in a really long time. We were going through the book and we're like, we haven't done this one in so long.
Why it's nice when you want to go through this. So this one, or this one?
Yeah.
And then what's the other one? Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's My Heart is Yours and My Desire.
Okay. One desire.
I said show your phone.
What is yours?
Will you use my sweater as a pillow?
No, okay.
One desire. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That one. What is that?
What is it? Like, how does it go?
Yes. I mainly have to find out if I file it under the O's. Or do you ever have those many?
One Desire?
There's so many songs you want to
It's the one that we did last week that you're saying you didn't do last week. Remember that you forgot about? You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
I just want to see.
I know it's in there because that's where we found it.
You did.
Hey guys!
No.
So you guys know we're live on YouTube, so don't be flashing anybody.
What? Yeah, you guys are like a YouTuber.
If you know how it is.
Now we're live on YouTube.
Yeah, that on
Does
YouTube.
that mean I'm gonna have to like be appropriate when I talk and stuff now?
Reality.
Yeah, we are on live now because we have to just have it set up so we're not messing with the later stuff. See, Jared is doing his review right now. His shoes are being set up on YouTube.
Fighting on YouTube.
His shoes are.
my
Let me get
gosh,
off
no.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll go without some for right now.
That reaction. It's like I told him,
Stop dying.
what?
They're ducks.
What do you mean?
Yes.
That's not how you spell that one.
Hey, behave yourself.
Where'd it go?
Not on YouTube back here. I'm behind the YouTube line.
Children never grow up.
Huh? Hey Jared,
Yes, ma'am.
are you a fast typer?
Ish. That's ish.
Can you type these up for me real quick? Because my fingers aren't working. Here's broken vessels.
They sometimes find these on the internet. Have you tried that?
Yeah, I tried that, but it turns out that things from the internet don't always line up with what they see.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you start again? All these pieces?
All these pieces. Oh,
Should they be all caps, you think?
nah.
There's another song that starts like this. No, I can't fix my buttons. I can't fix my buttons. Oh. Don't hurt me. Bless you.
No, thank you. I'm good.
Madison!
She realized that she was on live. And
Yeah, she had to go prep.
She had to go prep.
She had to go finish her makeup.
Do that.
Can I practice this one with you?
I'm a
Yeah.
I like answers for watching, man. I can't imagine you watching. You have to find things that you have to
That natural blush.
Bring your collagen back to its pulpus. You might wanna. I don't know.
Just want you, I don't know the song well enough to know about the opposite.
You know what? I'll get it.
Okay.
I'll just
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I can type, and I guess I can make it look just exactly like that. If you'd rather. That doesn't have any kind of punctuation in it.
We don't usually use it.
You're yeah. What am I singing? I'm sorry. You can sing it. Yeah, that would sound pretty if you want to sing it. Oh, I don't care. I just want to know. I don't remember this. Like, there's 3 songs. Yeah, and I don't remember what they are. I know In the Hands and Lord I Need You. There's one more. Well, I'm sorry. You sound really pretty. I just don't. I don't know. I'm just confused. Oh, I think that is funny. I don't know. Yeah. No, yeah, no, because we got
How was the
yes,
texture in
okay,
the
so
last
you're thinking heart. Lord, I need you, my heart is yours, and in the hands of God. My heart is yours, okay. But if you want to do that song, you totally can.
I'm perfectly fine. I'm missing one, and I thought that one I'm missing.
Oh, okay. Do you like it? Yeah, okay.
Alright. Oh, sorry, my gosh, it's not working.
Good, thanks. Okay. Good, Dennis. Give you my life, I give you my trust, Jesus. You are my God, you are enough, Jesus. Jesus. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your hands. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your hands. I lay down my life, take up my cross, Jesus. You are my God, whatever thy cross, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your hands. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your hands. Oh, to Jesus I surrender. To Him I freely give. I will ever love and trust you in your presence. I will live. Oh, to Jesus I surrender all. To you I freely give. I will ever and trust you in presence. I'm sorry. Oh, so we did that 3 times? Okay, how do we end it?
Do you guys email me the plan on that part?
I think we should. Maybe the second time. Like the
next time when I start off Jesus, then maybe when I sing it again, sometime. Maybe. No, no, put it. Yes. Build it? Yeah. Okay. Is that okay? Building? Let's see.
Yes. With an off.
Okay, so, if you want, do you want to go back to the class?
I just want to know how it
How do you
goes.
normally do it? If it's not as good for you, then I'll have to do it, got it. I never get there on the radio.
I'll probably end it first, so maybe I'll do this 3 times. And then 3 days, and then we'll go back to the yes. Let's do all to Jesus like twice. This part all just twice and then. All to Jesus I surrender all. To you I freely I will ever love and trust you with your presence I will live. Oh, to Jesus I surrender all. To you I freely live. I will ever love and trust you with your presence I will live. My heart is yours, my heart is yours. Take it all, my life in your hands. My heart is yours, my heart is yours. Take it all, my life in your hands. I'll let you know before it I confess, loving you, I find my best. Without you, I fall apart. You're the one that guides my heart. What I need, oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. But one defense, my righteousness, oh God, I need you. Sing until your grace is more. This is mine, is where you are, where you are. Lord, I am free. Holiness is Christ in me. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. I want to be
defense. My righteousness, oh God, you are me. Teach my soul to rise to you. When temptation comes my
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to hear you. She's still there.
We're gonna do this bridge twice.
Sorry.
teach my soul to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, when I cannot stand, I call on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. So teach my soul to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, when I cannot stand, I'll call on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. Hey, hey. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, you are you. You are my one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, you are you.
I feel weird about making a song list because I feel like I'm not one to sing songs that you're not actually singing. It's like fresh air. It's always nice to have others pick songs because I get stuck sometimes on the same old ones. So you want to sing this song. This time we did a long time. This is not a D. I don't know. Oh, it's a D.
We raised our hopes in our cities, like we have followed fragile dreams. Only one can take the measure of our growth. And we've stumbled over the trials of life, and we wrestle free unseen. But only one can calm the storm inside our souls. Do you know that one? Does everyone know this one?
I think it sounds better with a kid.
It does.
Did I do that song that you wanted to do? Oh, in this place? Yeah, you did it last week. Who sang it last week? Me. I want to do it, but I'm never good. Yeah, you should do it. Right. I didn't really know what I was doing. Oh, really? Yeah. And that's since we did it last week. I think it's not bad to do new songs 2 times in a row. Oh, I agree. It helps people learn. And then you can even like put it away for a couple of weeks and then bring it back out. But I think it's bad to do it 2 times in a row. I really want to see that. You know that conference that James River does? What's it called? The DFL, Design for Life. I want to go to that. You going? I've always wanted to. Well, let's buy tickets and go. We should rent a hotel. That's not sure it does. I have big dreams. Yeah, you can design for life. Yeah, you just need to get lost. There's like a theater thing in Kansas City this past week. I heard about it. I would love to find some. We should do stuff like that. I could like make our bond as a worship team able to.
Find out where
Oh, yes, it's a worship team. Aren't guys like normally worship leaders too? There's tons of them.
Yeah, but you're bored. She's just like,
Unless you're more Diego, then you can do whatever.
Kyle, you can go to DFL and be a security guard. You can volunteer.
Oh, okay.
I did that last year.
You did that. You're so weird. Okay. Is this only one page? I'll bet you look cute in that security.
Yeah, but you're still a girl though, so I can't.
Guys are allowed if you're a security guard.
Guys are
It's
allowed.
short.
If you're a security guard.
No, he's not committed. Because there's another verse. Because in the song, a guy begins, and then in the second verse or something, a woman sings. But it's okay. You guys,
You just pay for my feet.
what do you think about that? I'm just all tickling if I don't find it. I like it.
Speak a little better.
I mean, we only did this last week, so it'll be like a new
There is a light that burns in the darkness. There is a hope that washes the fear away. There is a peace that settles around us. It is your love that sets our hearts ablaze. Father, we're on your knees. With every heartbeat, we bring this song away. Lord, come and give us grace. Father, we're crying out. Spirit, we need you now. Glorious love surrounds us. Lord, come and give us grace. Everybody, we're taking something different.
I thought you said something to me. Oh, yeah. I was like waiting for like a 2002. Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, she didn't do it. Does it sound okay? Yes. Okay. You sound good. This would be a good offering song. Yes.
Okay, I think we're just gonna have to sit back, right?
What? Chorus of the song. I guess we should do the second verse. Sorry. I like the
I don't know what the microphone
like the English interchanges there too, because it like brings this whole other. It's oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I need some coffee. Just second verse. Okay.
There is a king that reigns in victory.
Oh, I need to start. Let's just start here. Cool.
Father, we're on our knees. With every heartbeat, we bring you this song away. Lord, come and give us grace. Father, we're crying out. Spirit, we need you now. Glorious love surrounds us. Lord, come and give us grace. There is a king that reigns in victory. There is a mercy strong enough to save. We will rise up from the ashes. There is a love that overcame the grave. There is a love that overcame the grave. Father, we're on our knees. With every heartbeat, we bring you this song away. Lord, come and give us grace. Father, we're crying out. Spirit, we need you now. Glorious love surrounds us. Lord, come and give us grace. worship you. I worship you. I worship you always. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. I like you. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. I want to bring it up so bad, but I don't know. Bring it up. I just want to put it out.
Father, we're on our knees. I don't know. Yeah, you can do it. Oh, you're what? This is where your mouth. You were doing it. Okay. Which one? Okay. So if I'm doing Father, we're Father, we're on. Yeah.
We have the microphones ready for the preacher, right?
I don't know where it's
I haven't
at.
seen it. That's what I was asking you, hoping that you knew where it was.
This?
This is my last one of my brownies. I did it my own
I couldn't do it. Like, I made it up until like my last 3 days. The night, okay, the morning isn't bad. It just kind of tastes like peroxide. But the night, it tastes like you're just like eating dirt.
Look at me, I'm like,
It's the worst.
wait, why did you put it in different medium?
Maybe
Like juice or something.
you can try. I tried everything.
What do you try with?
I just like felt my nose.
How many days is that? That's so many different numbers.
I don't remember. It felt like forever though, because it was just gross.
Are you serious?
my
So I'm listening to the expert.
I mean, it was good. It's good for you, but the nighttime.
Well, you know, I was thinking of this like a cleanse, right? So I was thinking of doing that when I was back. Oh, girl. Anyways, I was just thinking of doing. I just juice for a while, vegetables and fruits. So in reality, it actually has some good stuff. It's like, what happened with the good one? I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they're playing.
We need some boom. Do you want to keep it up?
They did this last time.
Oh, they did. Oh,
They were like, "How we're switching in the middle."
Yeah, I asked about that. I said it was fine because it was just the middle part that people were like, wait, what happened? But it was nice.
Okay. Are we trying to?
But we didn't have to work on that part because they had mixed it. And it was like, I thought it was okay that we didn't have them anyways. But it's nice to have them. I'm like, you know what's weird? It's been singing songs for years and I still don't know it's two songs on this song. How sad is
And then
that?
we'll do your thing. You go broken vessel. I like the new one. We're singing it. That sounded pretty. And then we could do
In the hands of God. So I guess they're just.
No, no,
are you guys still doing In the Hands of God?
Hey, just so you guys know, it's 10:27.
Where is
Thank
everybody?
Nana,
We'll get started. I don't care.
are you guys still doing In the Hands of God?
Don't miss
Let's
it.
just start.
Huh?
No,
No? I didn't think so.
we're doing Build This Place.
Okay.
You guys have to communicate with her in the songs when you change them, please.
We changed
Okay.
In the Hands for Build This Place.
Okay. Alright, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
We'll just start. I'll what do you call it? The whole thing, yeah.
There is a light that burns in the darkness. There is a hope that washes the fear away. There is a peace that settles around us. It is your love that sets our hearts ablaze. Father, we are on our knees, and every heart beating, bring you this song today. Lord, come into this place. Father, we're crying out. Spirit, we need you now. Glorious love surrounds us. Lord, come into this place. There is a king that reigns in victory. There is a mercy strong enough to save. We feel it rising up from the ashes. There is a love that overcame the grave. There is a love that overcame the grave. Father, we're on our knees. Every heart beating, bring you this song today. Lord, come into this place. Father, we're crying out. Spirit, we need you now. Glorious love surrounds us. Lord, come into this place. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. Sorry, I'm playing. I don't know how to get down.
Is that okay? Yeah. I just want to do the higher stuff. I might just sing that over and over and over because I just shit. It's so simple. Okay. I'm sorry I kept you on. Yes, it will be fine. I think we should get capes.
Capes?
No kids.
No capes.
No kids.
What?
Are you talking about?
No capes.
No kids. And no.
Something's wrong.
Yes. No. I refuse to go.
It's being so slow.
Really?
Oh,
Oh, wait, I got it.
sorry, I'm gonna go right now.
through the dark. Fix my eyes on the unexpected. In the one day I shall stay. So take another step.
Day! Peter never sent me the email.
Maybe at the since day. I found you laying by the way, unexpected.
Taylor?
Yeah?
Can you mute the music real quick?
Yeah.
We're just trying to find the key that we can't. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This one is
It's so weird. You guys get it?
Yes, thank
Ariana, your grandma's wearing a tank top. It's in the office.
So take another step.
What? In the fridge, take it out. Mom probably forgot.
Ooh, what's this? That's the camera. It's the day. Day. Camera. Nice.
You have to raise it in some corner where you can be seen. Oh, okay. I don't want We did. We cleaned up. We started cleaning up. Yeah, but we started cleaning up because the dining room area was already kind of empty. So then I started cleaning up. And then they were gonna yeah. Well, then she parked her van behind us. Yeah. So we were just going around us. So we got it.
My dad wouldn't let me wear my shirt to the bus. I can't dance over there. I'm mad. I'm
so much. Yeah, that's why we're here. We're taking donuts.
Yes, my heart will sing how I love you, and forever I'll sing, forever I'll sing. Yes, my heart will sing how I love you. Come with my broken soul, take you the perfect love to worship me, spirit and truth.
I've done that so many times, and the stupid thing won't even finish it for you. Yes, I'm like, I want to finish better. The green is like 4. I didn't quite. I don't even know what's that. It wouldn't show me. I know that's
Yes, my
I need to get my picture later.
I don't know.
Yes, my
Good morning, everyone. I know there's all those morning duties back there. Believe me, I'm getting some after. Anyway, thank you so much for being here this morning. We are so excited to lead you in worship. I'm just going to go ahead and pray. Father God, Lord, we just love you, Lord. And God, we are such a huge family, Father, of your kingdom, Lord. And Lord, it's just getting bigger and bigger every day, Father. God, just help us to be lights, Lord, that make people wonder, Lord, what is that they have, Lord? God, just we invite you this morning, Lord. Come, Lord. You'll hear our worship, Lord. I believe you'll smile, Father. These things we're asking in your name. Amen.
apart. You're the one that guides my heart. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. Lord, declares my righteousness. Oh God, I need you. So thirsty, your grace is more. The grace is found is where you are. Where you are, Lord, I am free. Holiness is Christ in me. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. Lord, defense, my righteousness. Oh God, I need you. So teach my soul to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, when I cannot stand or fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. So teach my soul to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, when I cannot stand or fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. Lord, declares my righteousness. Oh, God, I need you. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My Lord declares my righteousness. Oh God, I need you. You are my defense, my righteousness. Oh God, I need you. Give you my life, I give you my trust, Jesus. You are my God, you are enough, Jesus. Jesus. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your hands. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your hands. Lay down my life, take up my cross, Jesus. You are my God, whatever God wants, Jesus, oh Jesus. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your hands. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your hands. Oh, to Jesus, I surrender all. To you I freely give. I will ever love and trust you in your presence. I will live. Oh, to Jesus, I surrender all. To you I freely give. I will ever love and trust you in your presence. I will live. Oh, to Jesus I surrender all. To you I freely give. I will ever love and trust you in your presence. I will live. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your hands. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your hands. My heart is yours. My heart is yours. Take it all, take it all. My life in your
Did you guys say the bridge with me?
just for you here I stand, wanting you, only you. Your presence, Lord, I will find my strength. You're the everything, you're my everything. I'm down low, my hands to the ground. I'm consuming fire, you're my one desire. No other, oh, your name. Let it stay on my lips. I will sing your praise. God, it's you, only you. Your presence, Lord, I will find my strength. You're the everything,
Father, we just love you, Lord, and we praise you, Father. God, I just can hear your voices, Lord, that are singing for you, Father, and hands held high, Lord. Oh, Lord, thank you so much for churches, Father, for freedom, Father. Just please, just continue to watch over your church. And at this time, we're going to take an offering. There is a light that burns in the darkness. There is a hope that washes the fear away. There is a peace that settles around us. It is your love that puts our hearts ablaze. Father, we're on our knees. With every heartbeat, we give you this offering. Lord, come into this place. Father, we're crying out. Spirit, we need you now. Glorious love surrounds us. Lord, come into this place. There is a king that reigns in victory. There is a mercy strong enough to save. We've been rising up from the ashes. There is a love that overcame the grave. There is a love that overcame the grave. Father, we're on our knees. With every heartbeat, we breathe this offering. Lord, come into this place. Father, we're crying out. Spirit, we need you now. Glorious love surrounds us. Lord, come into this place. And I will worship. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. And I will worship you. I will worship you. I will worship you always. Father, we're on our knees. With every heartbeat, we give you this offering. Lord, come into this place. Lord, we're crying now. Spirit, we need you now. Glorious love surrounds us. Lord, come into this place. I think I got so excited to sing to the Lord today that I forgot to have Danny do the announcements. Oh, she says it's okay. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for worshiping with us this morning. She did. I was so excited. I just couldn't wait. They don't even want me to speak anymore. Something that we are, Revelation Church, or we try to be, it's one key word, flexible. Because you never know what's going to happen at Sunday, so we just... Anyways, if you need one of this, Billy John or Landon would love to come by and give you one. So you raise your hand, they'll come.
If you raise them, they will come. You need more? There's more here, Lamb, that you need one in your hand to give away. Now I don't have one. Hold on, let me look at it. Hold on a second. Hold on. I think I got it. I memorized the whole thing. Just kidding. Okay, so on your bulletin, there is a little calendar of what coming up events. One of those is PBS. And Miss Bethany was making sure this week. Oh my goodness, that is so bright and hot. That we want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity and the honor to serve our children's ministry for our VBS. So don't miss out, because you will miss out if you don't sign up. And so if you are interested in doing that, come see Bethany at the end of service, and she would love to tell you or get your name and your phone number, and then you can tell her kind of what you want to do. There's different things, and she can give you a list of things that we do, and then you can say, okay, I definitely want to do games outside because it's hot. And she put it down for her, because she's awesome. So the best thing that's happening this week is, ladies, we get together on Friday, and we're going to go eat, because it's best when we eat. And, you know, we don't eat vegetables or salads, because that's not what we do. Just kidding, we do if we want to. But we're going to Leon's on Battlefield at 6:30. Is that what the thing says? I don't know what it says. Okay, we're going to say 6:30 for now. And then after that, we're going to Travelers Coffee and Tea House, or tea and coffee. I will say coffee goes first because it's most important. So Coffee and Tea House, also in Battlefield in the area of Kansas Expressway. So if you need directions or even a ride, why don't you come see me, and I would love to come get you. Okay, we'll have a party bus in the version of a minivan. So come see me, and I'll come get you, and we'll meet somewhere, and we'll ride together. It's gonna be a great fun. Yeah, food is good, coffee is better. So come see me for that. And then we have today, our children's ministry would be done by Miss Brittany and Miss Jidaline. And also our nursery is by Miss Elena. I didn't do a bulletin. Just kidding, I did. I think that's it for now. Kids, you are dismissed. And say hello to somebody. Cue the music.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
You look good.
I thought about sleeping in my wedding clothes yesterday and just wearing them today. That's how much I wanted to get ready this morning.
I'm waving at.
Oh my god, it feels so bad. It's digital. You're just
I think that's where my parents got it.
Alexander Miles. I can lay my head on your breast. I'm pretty sure it's like that. I don't dress. I can
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming this Father's Day. If you were here for Mother's Day, it was probably one of our best, for me, one of our best times together. It was really special. We had a lot of things going on. If you were here that Sunday morning, we had a time of surprise. It was kind of a reveal, so I was having fun playing with the whole thing. And so I was thinking this morning, how do we top that, We had Brittany come up and we revealed that she was having a baby. So I was thinking this morning, it being Father's Day and Mother's Day, was so amazingly special. I thought we should do something similar. So this morning, I want to announce that it being Father's Day, that Ross is also having a baby. See, we can make Father's Day special too. Honestly, it was so amazingly beautiful. The message was perfect. The pastor was awesome. I'm just kidding. You probably don't remember a word I said, but you do remember the testimonies, don't you? They were incredible. So this morning, I will be giving a time for us to talk about our fathers, or a father that's here, or a father that's not here anymore. So you'll have that opportunity this morning. I would like us to look past the fact that there are imperfect fathers this morning. There are plenty of imperfect fathers, and that's really the whole point of what I want to talk about this morning. Because we've got this world that we live in that is far from perfect. It's got all kinds of things that are messed up. It is so easy to get lost, to get blinded, to do this life, to make a mess, to screw things up. We've all been a part of it. And what God is doing is something different. He's restoring His creation. He's restoring the crown of His creation as humans. So we're learning to be the people, the men, the women, the fathers, the mothers that we're supposed to be. That's what this is about. It's so much more than a simple religion. This is a restoration. This is something amazing. So we don't focus on what's broken and destroyed and depraved. We look to what's beautiful, and we become part of what God is doing in making things beautiful. When I think about my kids, I think about the desire that I have for them. And I was looking in Proverbs 3 this morning, and for me to sum it up here real quick, it's if God was speaking to us, and if I am speaking to my children, it's grow and be wise, my children. Grow in your understanding and wisdom, and be strong. And that's the very same thing that God wants for us. In Proverbs 3, it says, my son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and do not resent His rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those He loves. As a father, the son He delights in. What's being said here? If you delight in your children, you still rebuke them, you still discipline them, and you still delight in them. They're your passion. You love them. God designed it that way, and that's the way that He looks at us. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare to her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left are riches and honor. We've been looking at honor, haven't we? We've discovered that you can't be an honorable person unless you honor others. All the virtues that make someone honorable are because they are in the service of others. Everything folds and wraps together. And if you would this week, read all of Proverbs 3. It's just beautiful. It's what a father would want for his for his children. It's what a mother would want for her children. So if we were to scan through Proverbs 3 and see this great heart's desire, it would continue and continue in all this wisdom and all this way of life. I want to talk this morning about the journey of a man in fatherhood. And to begin this short teaching that I'm going to do this morning, I want us to think of the term. For some reason, this came to me this morning. I'll just say it was God. It was stand fast. It's kind of this funny term that you learn in the military. Stand fast. If you're not in the military, it doesn't make sense. You know, they don't go together. You stand immovable. So when I look it up in the dictionary, I'm like, how do I explain stand fast? To be fixed, to be unshaken, to be immovable. You refuse to be defeated. The rebels have stood fast. They refuse to give up. There's something about being man that requires us to stand fast. So I did a little more digging. And I discovered that it's God's intention for us to stand fast. It doesn't mean that you're not moving. As a matter of fact, you're resisting. You are continuing on a particular way. You're on a journey, but you're not deviating from that journey. You're not deviating from that way. You're strong. You're unshaken. You're immovable. This journey of a man, this fatherhood, requires a covenant relationship. Well, what's a covenant relationship? In this time and age, we're fixed on the idea of legal contracts. We know that if we engage in some business deal, if we get involved with something, it's wise to have a contract because two parties need to live up to their end of the deal. This is the way that we process life in this Western civilization. As the protective individuals that we are, we expect people to live up to our expectations and even sign their name on it. A handshake is no longer enough. Everybody would say, did you get a contract? In other words, were you dumb? Did you just go ahead and enter into that bit of business without any proof, any legally binding document of what the expectation of the other party? But a covenant relationship is something different, and we're to be covenant people. The arrangement is entered into by the person who enters the arrangement. If I decide that I'm going to be something to you, it's not based on you meeting my expectations. It's based on me being who I am, the way that I'm going to be to you. Like a good father to his children, like a good mother to her children, like a good husband to his wife, and like a good wife to her husband. The relationship thrives not because of the love and our understanding of love. There's lots of definitions of love, but typically people insert the wrong definition when they talk about the relationship. Let your love thrive when you do a wedding ceremony or you're giving. Let your love grow. Let it thrive. This is going to happen because of the love that you have for each other. I'm telling you right now. There's times when you're shaken and rocked, and the reason you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing is not because of a lack of love, and you're not doing it because of love. You're doing it because of the person that you are, a person of great virtue and character. A covenant relationship requires you to be the person that you're supposed to be in that relationship, because at times your children are not going to meet your expectations, your wife, your husband, anybody. A mentor-mentee relationship, a discipler relationship is not going to meet your expectations, but you stand fast because of who you are. You're not reactionary, you're strong. It's not a way out when somebody doesn't meet your expectations. It requires you to continue to be the loving, caring, compassionate, honorable person that you are. That is the only way God's society, His children, His creation, this covenant group of people moves forward. Be who you are based on your relationship with him and the character that he's created in you. It's the only way. We can always find excuses. We can invent them, or we can be confused by events and see things for what they aren't and fall into just messes. That's why it's so important that when we do enter these relationships, we understand why we're entering them and who we're entering them with. Stand fast, to be unshaken or immovable. A covenant relationship is based on the covenant maker. God's relationship with us is based on who he is. He knows who we are. He knows that we come from a place of lost and blind, of eyes that can't see and ears that can't hear. We also know that he's a patient and loving God. We also know that time and time again, he's about restoring his people. That is his interaction in the Bible with his beloved humans. His desire is to bring restoration to his people and make life beautiful for them and take them to a special place. That's what continues over and over again in our beautiful Bible. So after 2,000 years of teaching, after Christ came and revealed this ultimate big reveal, this great and wonderful thing, this covenant relationship between God and man, we saw this fulfillment. We saw the prelude to it all through the Old Testament. For thousands of years, we saw God's people looking to a God, God looking at them and saying, come with me, I'll be your God, you'll be my people. And then we see God's people turning away, running about their own business, false idols, rebellion, God saying, oh, this is horrible. Look what's going to happen because you did this. Because that's the way that it works. They fall into calamity. He says, please, please, because of who I am, I'll be your God and you'll be my people. Listen to me, it'll be good for you. I've got a place for you. And so they follow him for a little bit, and then they turn away, and the same thing over and over again. And then enter the big story. God redeeming all of his creation. So here's Jesus Christ revealing God's nature, his character, and what he wants for us. He wants us to be a special kind of people, a people that would reconcile his whole world. I don't know how well you understand the Old Testament, but reconciliation and restoration from the world was supposed to come through the Jews, through the Jewish people. They were supposed to be the ministers of reconciliation, the people with God's promise, and they failed. The people themselves failed, but God didn't fail. He sent Jesus, who was a Jew. So salvation, redemption, freedom came from the Jews. So often we think salvation, salvation, salvation. Well, what does that mean? Almost all the time, what every evangelist or teacher or preacher is teaching is salvation. Get saved. Get saved, follow rules, go to heaven. When what I've seen from beginning to end in the Bible is a journey. God setting his people free for what? To be his people. His people are a people of purpose. They always have been since Genesis. Ruling, dominion, naming, shaping, creating. His image bearers. We have an effectual purpose on this planet. We change and shape the world around us. We're created in his image. We have immense power to bless lives and the planet around us or to make a giant mess. God is about restoring his people to be who they are. So salvation, restoration, freedom did come from Christ, but so that we could be the people that we're going to be. Now, he's given us a spirit now to accomplish this task. Later, there'll be the new bodies, the new heaven and the new earth. But right now, we've got this spiritual call to action. This baptism was death to the old, the beginning of a new journey with him as a new creation. The journey was available when he set us free. one foot in front of the other as his people begins after baptism. And so that's where we live right now. So after 2,000 years of teaching, 2,000 years of apostles, of disciples, of teachers, of pastors, and of priests teaching, why are we only at where we're at now? Why are we still just teaching so often salvation, be good, wait for heaven? Why is there not this great expectation that God is going to shape and change us and we're going to affect the world around us as God's chosen people? Why doesn't Christianity have more of an effect on the world? Because too many people are waiting for heaven. Too many people have given up on the world around them. Ask yourself, how many people have you invited to church this year? I would guarantee you that you are in the top percentile of churches nationwide. You've probably done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800, 1,000% better than most churches. Why? Because most Christians do not invite one single person to church all year. The invitation was to be God's people, to move forward as one and shape and change the world. You weren't meant to do it by yourself. It's not your personal relationship with Jesus. It's a corporate relationship as his people, and there's an expectation that you would grow. I'm speaking to you men specifically this morning, that you would be God's men. That you would stop being blown about by every event that's around you. God knows it's difficult, and he requires you to stand fast. To be men of valor, courageous and kind, patient and merciful. To be effective. Men of honor who leave a legacy of visibly committed love and service of an honorable Father in God. That is why he refers to himself as Father. And we're part of his honorable people. And we leave a legacy of honor as we do a couple things. Grow, change, be who God's called us to be, and attend to what God is attending to. What's that? He's raising up a people by which salvation comes, by which reconciliation comes. If we don't care about that, then we're not caring about what God cares about. And it's evident to our children. After 2,000 years, the Christian church should be far more effective. We are the only religion of peace, period. There is no other religion that teaches a creator God, a monotheistic religion that actually has peace available, because the only way that real peace comes is through sacrifice. It's through loving the unlovable. Other books teach us, like the Quran, we're to love them sometimes and sometimes kill them. Take by force. You can't force anyone to be a Christian. We're presenting a great opportunity to be the people that God's called us to be, and the evidence is our lives. Families committed to each other, loving each other. A people that can come together and it be good. And fulfill the roles and special places in each other's hearts that the world is broken. Isn't that right, Dee? When families come together, it's beautiful?
Yes. Yes, sir.
We're to live family. To live as brothers. To set the course for others by example. God's calling for us is to be a greater restored man. Deuteronomy 1 says, "Then I said to you, do not be shocked nor fear them." See, this is our story, the Exodus story, because this is what God is doing for us. setting us free from the evil empire, from sin's hold on us, beginning a journey with us, destination promised land. Position right now, uncomfortable. We're in the wilderness, but we can thrive in the wilderness. Then I said to you, do not be shocked, nor fear them. The Lord your God who goes before you will himself fight on your behalf, just as he did for you in Egypt, before your eyes. And in the wilderness, where you saw how the Lord your God carried you, just as a man carries his son, in all the way which you have walked until you came to this place. But for all this, you did not trust the Lord your God, who goes before you on your way, to seek out a place for you to encamp in fire by night and cloud by day, to show you the way in which you should go. So how is this our story? We're in the wilderness. God is leading us. Fire by night, cloud by day. We're to follow that. We're to be led by his Spirit. We're to expect that he's fighting on our behalf. We're to move together as his people, not look to false idols for our encouragement, not grumble and complain. We're to stand fast as his people. We've been tasked with the job of his hands and feet as ministers of reconciliation. If we're not acting as his men, how is that job getting done? Galatians 5 says, Christ has liberated us to be free. Stand firm then and do not submit again to a yoke of slavery. We've read this in times past. Stand firm then and don't sin again. That's not what this is talking about. That's not the whole story. Continue to be my people, because who is Christ? The deliverer of the Hebrew nation. The deliverer of humanity. He's our king. Our king has liberated us to be part of his kingdom. Stand firm then as his people. Don't live your life based on sin. Don't freak out about sinning and not sinning, because it's not about rules. You're set free to be his amazing people. When we're worried about loving and serving and being honorable, we're not sinning. 1 Corinthians 15 says, so then, dear brothers and sisters, be firm, do not be moved. Always be outstanding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. We were saved to be awesome. We were set free to be awesome, to be his people now. 1 Corinthians 16 says, be alert, be firm in the Christian faith, be courageous and strong. I was reading this, and I looked up this. I was reading a couple different translations of the Bible, and it said, be alert, be firm in the Christian faith, be courageous and strong. And courageous was interpreted in some translations as act like a man. I was like, all right, Greek. What are you really saying? So adrizomai, it's a Greek word, that's pretty cool, right? Courageous, I act like a man. It's literally telling us to act like men. Well, what is that? Well, be courageous, stand firm, be strong. Be alert, be firm in the Christian faith, act like a man and be strong. Do we think of Christian men as strong? Not obstinate, strong. Not people with ignorant opinions, but strong. Is that what you want in your pastor? Is that what Western Christianity wants in their pastor? Strong? Nah. They generally want inoffensive. Somebody who's going to teach them things that they already know in a funny and enlightening way. Somebody who's going to help them improve their life and their focus on their own life. Be courageous and strong. This word, as I'm researching this word for courageous, I act like a man, is directly associated. I didn't write this, somebody else did. It's in the definition itself in the Greek. They come together. What's the word that comes together with this, I act like a man? Faith. Pistis. This other Greek word. Well, what is that? That's having come to know. Having come to know what? Having come to know that Jesus is your king. Having come to know that he's the deliverer of humanity. So I'm going to act like a man because Jesus is my king, the deliverer of humanity. I'm going to be the man that God's called me to be. I find myself constantly extending grace to people. Often stepped on, often taken for granted. I don't spend so much time worrying about that because it's who I am. It's not based on my expectations of people. But the reason why I do this is because I want other people to also take their stand. I'm providing the opportunity for them to also act like men. That's what disciple makers do. They extend grace, mercy, and opportunity. People either take that or they don't. I'm blessed to have people around me who've taken that opportunity. I'm also blessed that God separates people from here that don't take that opportunity. I pray that he continues to do that. See, I'll put you over good grass to eat, but I'm not going to bottle feed you. That's not what a shepherd does. Here's some good grass to eat. Eat it. 1 Timothy 6 says, fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold on eternal life. I love that. Lay hold. What is that? Grab it. Whereunto thou art also called and hast professed a good profession before many witnesses. How did that version of the Bible get in here? Whereunto thou art also called and hast professed a good profession before many witnesses. King James Version. Matthew 24 says, but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. My daughter asked me this week, she's like, well, what about once saved, always saved? I said, wrong question. I don't have time to explain it right now, but we will. Well, Dad, what about once saved, always saved? Wrong question. It's not about a simple act that Jesus did and then we wait for heaven. We were redeemed to be a people, to be given a purpose. Salvation begins a journey. Being set free begins a journey. You were set free for a purpose. Now act like a man. Fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold on eternal life. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Luke 21 says, stand firm and you will win life. Preachers love to take and make a big doctrine off of one line and one sentence. Like they've got it all figured out. But so often there's double meanings. God wants us to discover what he's doing. Old and New Testament is filled with prophecy that's interpreted in a refreshing way by Jesus Christ. And we've got this New Testament where we've got this thing that happens over and over and over again. Evil rears its head the same way over and over again. God wins victory over and over again when people fight this fight. Stand firm and you will win life. Here, now, and later. Your life isn't going the way that you want it to do, want it to be, want it to go. Be the man that God's called you to be now. Change doesn't happen overnight. A diamond isn't formed overnight. The sanctification process continues. God is doing something with us. We will find the life now. It's all around you, filled with beautiful people. And it's also coming. New heaven and new earth. We're redeemed to be God's people and be in his promised land. We're to be his people now first. I want to pray with you really quick. Father God, thank you for this morning. Lord, I thank you for what you're doing. Lord, I would pray that we would be the people that you've called us to be. That we would be the men that you've called us to be. Lord, that we would lead by example. That we would be honorable people, serving and blessing the people around us, Lord, laying down our lives for others. Lord, standing firm. Lord, being awesome. That we would attend to the things that you want us to attend to. That we would love the church as much as you have. That we would love to be your people as much as you love your people. Father God, forgive us for where we've fallen short. Help us to love. Help us to love our families as you love us. Help us to become the fathers that we're supposed to be, so that when people think of their earthly father, they get a good idea of who you are. Lord, help us to be amazing. Help us to lead people directly to you, Lord, because of the love that we share, the patience that we have, our generous nature, Lord, and our mercy and compassion. Help people to see life in us and joy in us and peace in us, even when things are difficult. Help us to be strong men, fearless, Father God, and brave. I ask this for all of us in Jesus' name. Father's Day is such a huge deal. I hope and pray that we grow into the people that God's calling us to be, so that we can see the blessings of it now. You constantly hear me say a couple things. One, our boys need to see something in us. They need to see what we care about, because what we say doesn't matter so much. Who are we? They're going to notice. And our sons need to know two things of us for them to grow into the men that we want them to be. The first thing is they need to know that we're proud of them. This isn't this pride that gets ripped away every moment they do something wrong. This is a pride that's full of hope. A hopeful expectation that they will grow into the people that we want them to grow into. Well, how does that work? Look for every opportunity to shower them with praise. Look for every good decision and jump on it and say, good move. That's the way to go. I'm proud of you, son. And they need to know that we think that they're strong, so that they too can act like men. And men and women are different. So fathers, our daughters need to know something. Two things. They need to know that we think that they're beautiful. They need to know how precious that they are to us, or they're going to go look for that from the wrong place. It's not something you tell them once. It's something that you look to tell them. There's been so often that there's been a time crunch, and I've got a daughter that comes in with an outfit. Daddy, do you like this shirt or that shirt? You're looking at your beautiful daughter and you're thinking, not either one of them. I like them both. Neither one of those is ugly. So what would be normally easy is you look at one. If it's too tight, if it's too short, then not that one. Okay, neither one of them are tight or short. They both look okay, so what do you say? If it's ugly, it's easy. Oh, the red one's ugly. Look, go with the blue one. But they're both the same, right? And you're thinking, okay, it's not too revealing. It's not too tight. One's not ugly. I don't care. That's not what your daughter wants to hear. Pick one. Pick one. The blue one. Honey, the blue one will look awesome on you today. Let me see the blue one. That's showing your daughter that you think she's beautiful. She needs to know something else. You would die for her. That's the same thing a wife needs to know of her husband, constantly. It's not something you said once and you don't need to say it anymore. You see, our security as men comes from somebody thinking we're doing a good job and strong, and somebody being proud of us. And see, our wife needs to know that somebody thinks she's beautiful. Somebody would protect her and die for her. So I charge you this morning, fathers, act like men. Learn how to be a better man. Learn how to be a better husband, father. I'm constantly growing and learning, and so should you be. We're not done yet. And with that this morning, I wanted to offer you the time for a shout out. If there's a father out there, if there's a husband that you want to speak about, if you just want to share something fantastic this morning, maybe it's a beautiful memory, maybe it's an awesome quality. I happen to have an amazing dad. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, that's not what this is about. My dad's a flat-out hero. He's a hero that will talk your ear off about some crazy story, and I'm watching in people's eyes, and they're like, what is this story going to go for? And then I'm thinking to myself, you know what? That dude's a hero. I got to take the time, shut up, and listen to him. And you know what? We're far better off for it. My dad's amazing. You know, during the Vietnam War, early on, they weren't drafting people that were in college. My dad was in college. So my dad reads this story about how the Viet Cong are mistreating the Vietnamese and all the horrible things that they're doing to them. And these are the things in history that fold over and over because the same things happen over and over again. ISIS is doing a lot of the same things that the Viet Cong are doing. Horrible things to people. And so my dad, not being drafted, decides that he needs to go and fight, risk his life, and save some people. So he leaves college and joins the military. And well, he wanted to fight. He thought, somebody's going to stand up for these people that can't stand up for themselves. Let it be me. You might say, well, my father had a great father, and he taught him how to be honorable. My father was an orphan. His father left him at an orphanage. So where does this stuff come from? Decision to be a man. I'm going to fight for people that can't fight for themselves. So my father, well, who's fighting? Well, right now, it's the Special Forces. So my father, who's afraid of heights and not a tremendous athlete, decides he's going to be a Green Beret because those are the guys that are fighting. So a man that's afraid of heights finds themselves jumping out of lots of airplanes and running when he was a chain-smoking non-athlete. So he worked harder than everybody else to become a good runner. My dad's never stopped loving and looking to save people, ever. He's a work in progress, as every single one of us, but he's a hero. I've got a hero dad. What about your dad? What about the person that stepped up as your dad? What is it that you're finally coming to recognize as a growing young man? And you're finally beginning to appreciate your father's sacrifice. The way that he laid down his life and made his life about yours. Anybody?
Chipmunk to gray squirrel, over. Hi, Dad.
So, my dad is pretty rad. You guys have all met him. It's pretty cool. And probably my favorite things about him is that whenever I think about him, it's just good memories. They all come flooding in. Like, it's just, well, when I was little, when I didn't want to go to bed, I would tell him to give me, I can't remember, was it a T-Rex ride or a pterodactyl ride? T-Rex ride. So he'd put me up on his back, and he would turn, "You're a T-Rex," and he'd take me all the way to my room. And the dog would jump at me and try to bite my feet, but he'd keep me safe. And he used to take me to this gas station, AM, PM, and we would get snacks together. I would get a Propel and some Lay's, and he would get Doritos. I think he got Doritos. Coca-Cola, maybe. Yeah, but that was always a treat. I felt so special when he did that. Even though it was small, it was awesome. And shopping. Well, we're not allowed to go shopping together anymore because we kind of go all out. My mom doesn't let us. But when we did, we would, well, pretty much anything we saw, I was like, I haven't tried that before. Let's get it. So we'd come home, and mom would be like, what is all this? We got Pop-Tarts, Egos, and weird sour candy. It was pretty much everything. He just pampers me. He loves me. Also, with clothes shopping, we're not allowed to do that. He'll get me everything. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, we can't do that anymore. Come
on, Mom.
I know, come on. And family beach days, those were always fun. I miss those. And we go geocaching. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it's pretty much you get this app on your phone, and it tells you where you find these little like treasure boxes. They're all around Springfield and Ozark and just everywhere. And it's like a mystery. It'll give you one little like clue, and then you have to find it. And there's always like little trinkets and stuff, and you take from it and add to it. And we've gone to graveyards. We've gone to I don't know, gas station bathrooms, I think. Parking garages. We've been quite a few places. But yeah, he's pretty awesome. He's pretty hard on himself, but he's really cool. And we've been through a lot as a family, but he's always been a strong leader. And I look up to that, and it keeps us going. I thank you. Love you.
So now you know you can share your nerd stories. Things like geocaching.
There's no ocean.
Lake days.
It's gonna be really hard. I don't want to think about me, but mostly because I can't stand you guys, so it's really bright up here. I have so many fathers in my life that God has blessed me with. I would absolutely need just weeks, months, years to describe and tell all of the stories of every single father that God has put in my life. After my parents got divorced, I probably haven't seen my dad in 8 or 9 years. So for my story, and I really want to tell every single story where God is literally, there's been a time in my life where I didn't have a father, and then God would place somebody in my life that would become a father. And I don't know, I really shouldn't come up here, but Pete, y'all know I was going to talk about Pete because that's the biggest one. It's been such a life changer. He's been a life changer. I don't know, going from a father that was brutal and his father was brutal, just a lot of brutal German people. Oh, they didn't have to be German. Sorry. None of the German people in the Alpha. Everything was so wrong. Everything, whenever I mowed the grass, I would forget to put the grass away from the porch, and they would come on the porch and come up and grab you by the neck and just literally hold you there. And why can't you get this right? you don't have any common sense. Are you stupid? And just really, just get in the face. And I would break down very easily if anybody ever confronted me, or if I had a very deep conversation with somebody where someone was being aggressive towards me, I would always break down. And I would always hear my father's voice in my head that would say, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're never going to be smart enough, you just don't have it. I don't know why you can't be like everybody else. I remember even one time my sister and me were doing laps in the pool, and when my sister swam, my dad would say, that's the best swimmer I've ever seen. And then I saw that and I wanted to do that, and then I swam with all my heart, as hard as like my little fat body could. And I came back and he's like, you didn't even try. What were you doing? Get out of the pool. You suck. And I'm just like, I'm broken. And my whole life was pretty much like that with my dad. There were a few instances when he would try to dig deep into his heart and find something, but for the most part, it was always, you're not good enough, you're never going to be good enough, and just a lot of disappointment. And so I'd always hear that voice in my head that said, you're never going to make it. Why are you even trying? And so I didn't try. I didn't try to my potential. I didn't try to what I could do because I didn't believe I could. When I met Pete, and that voice stuck with me to the point when I was in high school, and even into college, and even into my years, I still have to hear that voice once in a while. That voice is like, just give up. You suck. There's no point in it. And in high school, that thought came to just, why don't you just commit suicide? You're not good enough. And I never did, and I never would, but it was still that voice that told me, just quit. You're not anything. And this is not to insult my dad or to bring a bad memory about him, only just that was the voice that I had before. A voice that you can just give up. It's really just like that. You don't have anything. And then when I met Pete, there was another voice. A voice that said, hey, get up. Don't quit. Keep going. They're just as tired as you. You're not a failure. You have failed. You're not a failure. Don't give up. Keep pushing. I love you. You're my son. And that voice is what has kept me going for the past however many years I've known Pete. That voice has been something that, in my mind, when I'd be wrestling a 300-pound behemoth monster, I hear Pete's voice say, you can do it. He's just as tired as you. I remember this one time I was wrestling this guy, and I started out on top, and then in the last 2 minutes he ended up being on top, and I'm literally coughing up this pink sputum. There's just like so much friction in my lungs, basically like blood. And I remember as the bell ran out, the next time he's going to be on top, and I'm just, this next 6 minutes is just going to be just unbearable. I'm not going to be able to do this. And I remember this voice like Pete, that just came up and said, you can either let your life suck these next 6 minutes, or you can make these next 30 seconds count. And I remember just having literally just a boulder, a man on top of me. And as soon as the bell hit, I'm just bumping, I'm pushing, and all I need is 1 inch. And I bump that 1 inch, I roll around him, and I start choking him out. And the entire room of guys are just like mesmerized by this. Literally, I'm 200 pounds, and this thing is on me. And I'm able to flip him around and start choking him out. And everyone is just like screaming at the top of their lungs. And that's the voice that helped me through dental school. That's the voice that I'm going through panic attacks every day. I think I'm going to die because of all my anxiety. Literally, my body is telling me you're going to die. And there's a voice that just keeps saying, don't give up. Don't quit. You can keep going. You're my son. I love you. And I'll tell you the last little story. I remember we were at a baptism or something, and I just kept thinking about seeing all these kids and these families, thinking about fathers and salvation and just everything about in life, what I wished I had. And I was so thankful for my mom, because my mom has been an absolute fortress and has been tougher than most men and smarter than most men. So she's been both a mother and a father. But I always wished that I could have that father relationship like Peter had with Peter John. I know this one time I had my shades on. He couldn't see it, but he could still see through my eyes, even with my shades on, that need for a father. And he came up, Mom was sitting here just on the porch just being quiet, and he just rubs his hand in my hair, like a father does his own son. And I remember he walked off, and I'm just like freaking bawling, like unreal. And just remembering thinking, like, I've never felt like a father has been there like that. Like, I feel more like a son to him than I ever did with my own dad. And it's pretty much that voice that gives me a spine, and it gives me a reason, and it gives me a hope that maybe one day I could be a father like that. Because I didn't want to be a father before. I didn't want to be a husband before. I didn't think I could be any of those things. But watching him and experiencing that and having someone adopt you unofficially into their family to be their child, not only does it make me just courageous, it makes me keep going, but it also gave me my eyes, my heart for Christ, realizing that I always wanted God, I always wanted Christ, but seeing that spirit of adoption helps me to recognize and realize that spirit of adoption that Christ has given all of us, that we were all not good enough, we were all insufficient, and then God grafts us into this vine, where he becomes our Father and we're his children. The Bible says that believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and we can be called sons of God, children of God. And when we come to him, let's come to him as a child. And Pete was just giving me the most excellent possible description of what a father can be to a son. And it makes me believe and trust in God more. So, that's all I have to say.
Anybody else?
I have a great dad. Great dad. Big D is what everyone calls him because he's 6'4" and he's big. And D for dad for me, but Demi because that's his name. Great guy. He has the strongest character. He's honorable. He's compassionate. He's quiet but strong. I wrote it all down and I can't remember right now. But all these great qualities, and he's funny, he's so funny. And it's the kind of funny that's not at the expense of somebody else. He's a practical joker, but not the kind that makes somebody look like a dunce, you know? He's just a great, all-around great guy. And I know that every little girl wants to marry her dad, you know, right? Little girls, I mean, you're older now, but when you're little, you just want to marry your dad because he's the best thing in the world. And then when you become a young lady, you're looking for a guy that you look for this guy that is like your dad, you know, like you're looking for those qualities in a guy. And I am the luckiest girl in the world because I found it. You know, I found this guy he's grown into all those qualities. The honor, the strength, the compassion. He's so funny. You do. Just makes our life, more joyful. Like Matt said, we've gone through a lot as a family, but, as a family, and he has held us together. So, great ball right there.
One more baby to come up. Because Jenny didn't sell the things that she shouldn't have said about her daddy. I don't even know if this is being recorded. It doesn't matter, just because it needs to be said. Denny, my father-in-law, man, I am the luckiest dude in the room. Because when you marry somebody, you're gonna, you get adopted into another half of the family, and it just always seems like somebody loses a little bit from that. I don't know who it is always, but it just seems that way, typically. If that's not your experience, awesome, you're doing good. But my father-in-law, Denny, like you heard what Jamie said, but my favorite thing about him is that he doesn't get excited. He doesn't let issues wreck him. He doesn't swing emotionally. He just seems to be able to calculate. And for me, we've had a lot of conversations over the last maybe 6-7 years, and I've reflected on a lot of our conversations this morning, and I realized he rarely gave me an answer. And I love that about him, because I think what he was doing in retrospect is a lot of us can't be given the answer, it doesn't help. The answer might still be true, but I feel like he recognized I had to discover it. And so I love, it was a gentleness. He wouldn't just shove the answer down my throat and just be like, this is the answer. He'd be like, yeah, I don't know. Because that's how we feel sometimes. Even when we know the answer, we know when we walked in those hard times, there's this feeling of, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to get over this hump. But, so that's my favorite thing, it's about listening, right? It's like, you can hear somebody, you can even have the answer, but you realize, till you've charged that wave, till you've marched up that mountain or flipped over a kayak under a tree, I can't really tell you what to do. Right, Bruce? Right. So you gotta just experience it. So anyway, I love you, Denny. I am so stoked to have you as a father-in-law, and so are my grandkid. Your grandkid, yeah, and my grandkids. So that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna try to talk for both my dad and my husband, because they're both great men. But when Jared and I first got married, he would be so frustrated with me, because we got married when we were 19 and 20, is that right? And, you know, he's the man of the house, that's the way I was raised, you have to kind of do what they say. Now I've learned some slippery things. But anyway, but Jared would say that, no, this is how you do something. I'm always thinking in my head, that's not how my daddy did it. So, and it would always really make him mad, and I never understood that. I think now maybe he might understand it a little bit more, because I have an awesome dad, and he totally messed up a lot of times, but he was never afraid to say that he did. You know, he always said, I could hear him say, oh, you're right, my mom's name is Doris, so you're right, Doris. He hated doing that. But he would always say that, you know, if he was wrong, and he always stood by my mom, really supported her, still does. And my mom stands, it's like, she stands so straight next to him. She's so proud to be his wife. And I am super proud to be your wife. I mean, there's 2 men in my life that I really want to please, and that is my husband and my daddy. And he still comes up and gives me a kiss and tells me I'm beautiful. And I know he would die for me. And he comes up and gives me a kiss, and I know he would die for me. So I have some role models. I have a great dad, and I love him so much. And now my girls have exactly what I have. So I'm a win-win. Love you, babe.
When this day rolls around every year, and we talk about our dads
our moms too. I sit there and I try to think about all that makes them, and there's no way that I can put into words like the significance of the people that they are. And so my dad, when I was born, I was Daddy's first boy. Yeah, Dad, he raised me to be fearless.
Girls are the better boy.
If there was anything I was afraid of, it was a roller coaster. You'd be like, okay, we're gonna do it 3 times. You're not gonna be afraid. And so, growing up, I think I know that he always told me that it would be enough. I shouldn't be afraid because no matter what was in front of me, no matter what was coming, I could push and I can get through it. One of the stories he tells a lot, we were running a race and it was a 5K. I was out of shape and I couldn't run. And I remember running and I thought I was going to throw up. I felt sick. I was going to fall over. And I remember thinking, my dad knows that I can do this. My dad knows. I didn't. Okay, hang on. My dad believes in me. He knows that I can get across that line. And I don't feel like I can. But I'm going to do this because he thinks I can. And so I pushed on, and I did throw up. But just, he was so proud of me. And there have been so many times in my life where, the only reason I was able to do the things that I was able to do was because I knew that he was proud of me. I knew that he believed in me. I knew that he thought I was enough, that I was beautiful. And for the times where I wasn't, the times where I failed, I knew that he was waiting with his arms wide open to be like, it's okay, we can do this together. On my quinceañera, he gave me this ring, and it's a purity ring, but it's engraved and it says, I am the hurricane on the inside. And I know that my dad is the hurricane. If there's anything that comes up, any wall, any force that comes against us, he'll destroy everything. He'll smash it because he loves me. And now that I've gotten older, I'm realizing that it's not just the love that he has for me. He loves me with God's love. And no matter what I do, I can't deserve the love that is extended to me. But he just loves me because I'm me. So I can honestly say that the only reason why I am here alive, why I haven't given up, is because of my dad. For pushing and for believing in me, telling me, when you don't think you can do it, just push a little harder, because I know you can. So thank you, Dad.
Anybody else want to get up in front of 50 people and cry?
Oh, why not? I've cried enough in the last 2 weeks. So. Whoever here. I'm wearing tennis shoes and my feet hurt after dancing last night, so forgive me. But I'm just gonna keep this really short. But I wanted to say, first of all, thank you for everyone in this room and blessing me and my family. But I wanted to say a couple things. My dad was an awesome man of integrity and honesty. And I know that he's watching from heaven all of the events that have happened here lately. Kyle actually kind of reminds me of my dad with the biggest heart on this earth. And so I'm so proud that he's my son. And I know God's got huge plans for him in the future. And I wanted to, of course, thank this man. I'm going to cry again. For stepping up and loving Kyle and helping him to become a man. Jared, Julio, you men of this church, for helping him become this great man of honor and integrity and beating all odds in this whole world to get where he has become. And then last night at my daughter's wedding, I watched him watch her. And I just am so proud because I really think that if it wasn't for Peter and Day being such great role models for my kids, there's no telling what path they would have gone down. And I have, and I always will, stand fast for God and for what he does for my family. And I love you, God.
Have a wonderful day. See you next week.
Oh, we're handling it.
Well, that's good.
We couldn't skim off something else. I know, this was the one. This was the one. Oh, no, I didn't have that. No, I probably, yeah. Right. Well, Jen and them are here till tomorrow night. They want to see elevator. They want to see Very fashionable. Oh yeah.
Where did you get that from?
Yes. Hilarious. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Wait, did you turn off live? You didn't even turn off the live. We need to get a better camera.
Yeah, definitely. That's part of the problem.
We need to like mount one.
Part of the problem is that
I spent a few hours figuring that out.
I have to download a different app to access it to whatever, and then I found that because there's the camera here, and it's awesome. It was nice to figure something out in my works. Yeah, my works kind What's going on, Mom?
They're in a better position now. They got rid of Bob. Bob there, Bob's gone. But we know he was there. We know where you are now. No, I don't think he was recorded. I think he was just live. Right? Well, guys, you don't really get much of a data.
It's on Facebook.
It's not on Facebook, it's on YouTube. Yeah, basically, you know, in Facebook, this is what it's showing on a regular, not so slow thing, which is more accurate. See, there's 90. But I think that was like I said, like 42.
Oh yeah.
I forgot I did that.
Right.
I'm gonna charge you for this. It's okay, I'll do it. Do you sleep on your feet? Or do you go like this? Underneath your pillow? I'm usually like this one on my bed. And then, you know, how often do you sleep on your feet? I try not to. Because it hurts my back and it's bad for your face. You wake up with like one eyebrow all the way up here. And it ages you quickly. Does it get kind of knotty? Like not great. Because then you got pencil melamine, right? Like you got upper side melamine. No? No? But yeah, it's just.
Is it
Why?
I wouldn't want that. And then you have to lift. It's all around. In a different drainage system. So how would you like it? And if it gets bigger, then
I already have really bad, but it just grows a little bit around her and it hurts to touch.
I'm gonna look it up and stuff and see what lands there and find out.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I called Dr. Bates for Dr. Kyle. I think my kids are Dr. Kyle. I'm just so excited.
I'm so excited to call doctor.
I'm just saying, you like people on the name card or whatever? Doctor. Throw it out the window.
Unless we get tattoos, we don't have to get piercings. I would get like a vine, and then white line on my arm, all the way down. My problem is that I want to change it every time. It's not that I wouldn't, it's just that it's permanent, so I can't change it, you know? If I did, I'm probably not going to make 35, so I would say sleeve before I get tattoos. And I'll wear it long sleeves when I work on it. Yeah. I mean, I like wearing long sleeves most of the time anyway. And I like wearing compression shirts and compression socks. It's good for you. It helps the blood flow. So I'll have my stuff covered most of the time. She wants to put a spot for every place she goes. Yeah. So I'm not really ripped and get a lot of things. But that was going to go on. Well, if you're willing to, yeah. You do draw very well. But you gotta show me some of your work, though. I gotta see some of your work so I can trust you more. That's really cheating because I want to see your work anyway. But what's up? I gotta see work. I gotta see what you can do. No, you gotta show me though. Not personal stuff, but just like, well, crap. No, it's personal. Let's say that. Run in. Really hungry. Yeah. I'm so thankful you brought that Chinese. The moment I ate it, I'm like, I'm gonna get a migraine tomorrow, and I did. Like, I was just like, because the MSG, I can't. And I was like, well, give Lucy's a try, because I've had Lucy's before, and I didn't get a migraine before. Chicken fried rice is the MSG capital of Chinese, because it's delicious. It's freaking delicious. So you like want all of like you just. I used to eat like whole like quart cartons of it, and just wow. No wonder I got migraines. Get out of my house! I don't want to see you in here. I was gonna do that a lot. Shoot him with the paintball while they're running. Daddy, no! But it's fun. They're gonna be like, Daddy shoots us with paintball guns. It's so fun.
Hey, Dave, can I X out of this?
Yeah, it's not just stop.